Well, hello there, YouTube. So we're gonna install something else today. We're gonna install the engine hood pad, insulation pad, as well as that rear insulation pad. I'm not sure exactly what they call that, but that little pad. In addition to that, I removed my nozzles. So you probably should too. They're inexpensive to replace. You know, mine were broken anyways. But all you do is just squeeze those two tabs and take those out. For putting them back in, however, so when you get your new ones, right, you have your new ones, they go on exactly the same way. You know, they squeeze in basically just by you pushing them in. But you want to be careful when you get the nozzle, the end of it, you don't want to be pushing from the outside because you don't want to indent it. You want to make sure you kind of pull it and everything. And then what I use is this stuff right here anyways. I know it's for a pool and spa, but you know, it's just a silicone lube, but it's a hydraulic type of a silicone. So it really works great, I think. So, and it will also keep these things from sticking to any glue that you may have left behind when you did your glue job. So, but before I get into this video, I want to say I've got 22 subscribers, so I'm moving up. Hey, you guys, and I hope I don't let you down. The holidays are coming up. You know, this weekend we've got a big holiday. And then the next following weekend we've got New Year's. You know, the world's going to celebrate. I don't know. And we've got this Omicron. So I started to do my wiring harness. And, you know, uncovering things along the way. So that's going to be interesting. You know, depinning things and trying to re-sleeve it. And so that's going to be coming up, and I'm kind of working on that in the background, you know, locating the proper wire with the right colors and all that kind of stuff. The transmission is supposed to be done this week, so it takes about a week probably after that to get here, but I won't be ready. So I've already started dismantling this as well. Just little things, you know, taking off the pumps and you know, all that kind of stuff. I haven't really got into it yet, but you know, I'm going to be tearing that down and wiring and seeing what we get in here. I just got emailed that the parts that I know of is on their way, so that's a good sign. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy the video. Thumbs up, do all those kind of fancy things that everybody talks about doing. Hey, I don't make money off these things. I'm not selling anything. All I'm doing is showing you my experience and documenting my journey so I can put this thing back together. I'm just making videos so I can look at them again when I go to put it back together. That's really what it's all about. Right? And maybe someone else can say, oh, that's right. You know, Tony, he did a video on that. I think I'll go check that out. Alright, so thanks again, everyone. And hey, like I said, there's a lot of videos coming up. Thumbs up! Alright, so these are the tools I think I'm going to be using. All just plastic. Right? So I might need to scrub it. And I might need to scrape it. And even down to a plastic razor scraper. I'm going to be putting new ones of these because the other ones are broken. This is the part number for this part of it. Alright, so that's the Mercedes part number. And this is the top I'm using. And that's its part number. So I just wanted to make sure that everything matches up and that it's wide enough to fit top and bottom, so I know I'm good to go. So now I can go ahead and fold that off and set that aside. And we'll set this aside. We need to get these out. You can see why I'm replacing this. It's broken. You know, you're going to see this might look great. The top that came, that I purchased, is much better, but now you can see that's what you're going to be dealing with. So you're going to need a vacuum cleaner, and you know, we'll try to, I mean, it just disintegrates. Okay, so that's what I'm dealing with, and I'm going to just put it on time lapse, I guess, to get this going. Alright, so here we go. So just using these tools basically, and that's kind of the results we get. There's still some obviously stuff on here, so where it's heavy and I feel that, you know, maybe I might want to get it out, I put some WD-40. I think that's probably the safest thing. Anything else you'll probably take paint off, so you don't want to do that. So, I mean, this could actually be covered at this point. There's no reason. If you clean it properly, I have not washed it yet, but that will be another step for me. It's obviously a lot easier when your hood's off. I mean, look at that. I can spin it around, do anything I want to do. It's really, you might as well pull it. We'll see. I haven't put it back on yet, so we'll see how hard that is. I decided, why not just take the front grill off? That way there we can get a really, we have real easy access. Right, and so there's all that's required is just a total of, let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. So you got 2 on each end. And then you've got 1, 2, and 3. So that's simple. Now I knew when I did this that I would expose, you know, other things. So this seal should be replaced regardless. So, but I'm glad I took it off. But you know, my edge is just fine. I have no rust or anything like that. There's not any rust on this car. Alright, I moved outside. Well, actually I was already outside, but I mean I moved to just to the patio. Did the same thing but covered it in plastic so that way there I keep my things. Alright, so I'm getting ready to wash it. That's all. I'm just going to wash it. I don't want to have any oils or greases or anything left behind. Other than that, I think it's just fine to go. Hey, if it doesn't come off, it won't come off. That's how I feel about it. Right? You don't need to scrape this and ruin your paint or create an indentation on the other side. Or look, if it doesn't come off, it won't come off. I went ahead and took this off. It's just 2 10mm, right? And it just goes in right there. I cannot see, it's just too bright on this LED screen, so I think I'm pointing in the right direction. Just makes it easier to clean this all up. Alright, so now that I've cleaned it all, I've masked everywhere where I don't want glue to be. Right? Protect for overspray. I have a plastic tarp and everything. This is how it will be glued in. Right? Which means we glue the back side of this. I saw a guy on the internet do an instructional video and he put the glue on the wrong side, so I don't know. You know, another thing that I did is I did a dry fit. So I wanted to make sure, you know, that these things all line up with their corresponding hole. And then what I did is I made a little mark and I marked it here. Because I'm going to start with this back edge first. Okay, that's how I'm going to do it. And I made a mark there in the center, you can see. I made another mark here. Because you're going to have to pull it a little bit so you get all these holes to that hole to line up. as well as make sure, you know, that she's tucked up against the edge. You don't want it to come out like this. We're going to want to make sure it's up against the edge, and that we're up against the edge here too. So there's one way we can help us is, you see, I put the paper so I can spray the back side of this, okay? But then we have this piece of wood, and if I put that piece of wood in here, after I spray it, right? After everything's been sprayed, then it won't really be tacky, but it will stick to this one when it's also at the same state, right? It's just when those two pieces meet, it becomes pretty much permanent with the stuff that we're going to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this in here like that. So when this is ready to go, I can flip it over and I can just work that edge and get a nice, beautiful edge all the way across there. And then I can start working it back. You see, I also marked each one of these because you're tabbed. So you know where you got to be, right? So I'm going to basically start in the middle here, and then I'm going to work one side, and then I'll work the other side, and I'll get my width perfect and my holes lined up perfectly. That's my main thing. And then, because we know that this other stuff will tuck up underneath here, all right? And we'll get a nice, beautiful look to it. We'll see. We'll see how it comes out. This is the stuff I'm going to use. So, all right, it's supposed to be great. We'll see. So now I've got everything ready to go, and you can see what I did. I also went ahead and cut out little circles for our nozzles. And I did that only because, you know, when we put the new nozzles in, I don't really want it to get stuck to the glue. That's all. Alright, so the can says that we shake it really well, so I'll be doing that. And you spray 6 to 12 inches away, so I'll be somewhere within that range. And anywhere between 4 and 30 minutes is your adhesion, best time to adhere. So that's a big range, so we'll check it after about 4 or 5 minutes. When doing your adhesive, it's going on top. Alright, it's going to go on top of this. So it's not going to go up underneath this. So you don't need to worry about getting up underneath any of this kind of stuff. It's just this top surface here. This top surface. This top surface, and you can spray some in here in the middle. I should bring this back. Again, this, and what the most important is these edges. All right. Now, that pad is going to stick. It's got corners on it. Remember these corners? Right. So those corners are going to fit right inside of this. So you need glue here. So you want to make sure you have a good glue all the way under that lip, because these things are split. So they're going to go under, or I should say, you know, all the way to the whole edge. So I'm going to make sure that, you know, I get underneath there and these corners. Those are your fail points. And as long as everything's clean, anything that was left behind that you didn't get off, that means it won't come off. So you don't have to worry about it. All right. I guarantee you what failed was your pad, right? Your pad disintegrated. Your glue didn't come off. So as long as you've got it clean and you got off all the residue that this thing left behind, you know, you're going to do a beautiful job here. Shake it again. Hopefully this little board trick idea keeps it from sticking back here while we work in this edge to make a nice, beautiful, clean edges. Oh, great. I have another can, so let's go get that one. Alright, now I got a nozzle. Did I tell you guys that if it can happen, it will happen to me? Oh, you see how that goes? Okay. Your edges are the most important part. And you can see I pretty much gave that enough, huh? Alright, let's see how that works. Now, of course, if I would have removed the tape first, it would have been better, because this one little spot, when I removed the tape, it pulled away right there. But other than that, this edge didn't come out too bad. As you can see, right, everything's tucked. This is nice along our edges there. This will, you know, because it's not gonna stick right there, because, you know, this is where it mostly sticks. It'll stick in this area and here. Right, and this all came out pretty good over here. Not bad. Okay, so now if I just remember the next time, you gotta, you know, I knew I have my steps in front of me, and it says, you know, I'm gonna tape it, then I'm gonna glue it, and then I'm gonna remove the tape. But I forgot to remove the tape first, so let's hope I do it on the big pad, right? Because that's the next thing we're gonna do. But this came out good. I'm happy with it. It's just as good as it was, and you know, that's what matters. So should give us a nice, genuine Mercedes. So we didn't mess it up too much. I think we did a pretty good job. All right, we'll get this area prepped. All right, all I've done was just dry fit this for right now to see what I need. It looks like it should come right up to this edge, not on it. So this glue here is not correct when they did it. As far as I can tell, it should fit right up against that. There's a little ridge there. It should be right up against that ridge. All right, so you want to have a nice factory. This is the same thing. You see, there's a ridge. You see that? So I want that like right up against that when I do it. And the same thing, there's nothing, it stops here, that little ridge stops right there. So you want to make sure that your front edge is also nice. So, and I'm just using this tool. The felt side works really nice too. But I'm just using this tool right here to you can see it's right there. It's right at that edge. So I know that, so when I go to glue this, I know that that's got to be right up against that edge. So That's what I'm going to work on now that we're ready. We're ready to glue this in. I feel comfortable with the dry fit. So that's how I'm going to install it. And let's see how it comes out. Now, this has a little notch cut out in the actual pad. So I decided to lay it in. Make sure I got all my edges looking really good. And then I marked where that is. So that'll be my starting point. We already know where our edges need to be. Got it all masked off. I'm just seeing where I want to put those things. Well, let's see how we do. I really don't know what those things are for. Do I glue them down? I don't think I have to. But this edge probably. Right. I don't think you need to do any more than that. I don't know if those things should be done or not, but I'm going to do it. I think one can should do all of it. There we go. Now we got another can. If that thing don't stick, I don't know what to tell you. It's got to stick. Right. That's more liberal than that. Alright, now we'll let it wait. But remember what we said we were going to do is remember to take off our tape. The battery died, but that's what it looks like. Did a really nice job, I think. It's all perfectly sealed. It's got a nice tight edge all the way around. So I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to remove that last bit of tape.